Welcome back, Cadets. So in this video, we will deploy our API to Azure instead of running it locally. And we will handle some issues that may arise on our way up there. So the first thing we need to do is we go to Azure. We need to create an app service. And here in the create, we select web app. Here we will select our current existing resource group. We can call it excuses web API. Why not? I guess it's no, okay. Oh, apparently it's not available. All right, it's called just API. Runtime stack .NET 8. We're going to choose Linux because it's cheaper. We only need to take Windows if we need something specifically tied to Windows, something that is not available on Linux. And I'll select the region closest to me, just central. I will copy this name because I don't like the default plan name, so I'm going to choose my own, append it to dash and plan. And then for pricing plans, you can look at the different prices and how much memory and CPU we get. Maybe if your needs are not that heavy, you stick with B1. But I'm going to go with this premium V3 here just to make sure this doesn't take as long as it would maybe with B1 to start up. So I'll go with that. Zone redundancy set to disabled. We don't need any database. We will deploy directly from Visual Studio just to keep things simple, but we could do this also through GitHub if we had a repository there. And this is the standard way of doing it, especially when working with projects over longer timescales and production environments. We might cover this on a future video. Good as is, defaults here, good. You might not be in a B1 able to enable application insights, just so you're aware. But I'm also not interested of it, so I'll set it to no. And tags irrelevant for us, and then just create. And then we will provision the resources that we need. This shouldn't take long. Let's see if we go to Visual Studio. We need to go right. So now that we're deploying directly from Visual Studio, our app settings.json file with our connection strings will be uploaded with it directly. So we have access to these connection strings. But if we keep our project on, for example, GitHub, we git ignore app settings.json because this is sensitive information. We don't want to give access to anyone, just anyone, this information. So thus we would not have been able to do that. So I will show you soon how we would have done it properly if we had this on GitHub. And the app settings will be git ignored. So let's see if it's done. So to the left here, we have something called environment variables. And maybe we'll cover this after we publish, so that in case that takes some time. So to deploy to this API from Visual Studio, you have to make sure you're logged in with your account. We right click on the project there, the web API project. We select publish. And here we want our target to be Azure. And the app service is Linux, not Windows. And we see, since I'm logged in, it scans and sees that I have a app service up that I can use. I can click next. We're not interested in an API management, so we can skip this step. And then finish. Creates a publish profile. And we see the dependencies, the two different connection strings that will arrive when we zip this and send it up. So we'll click publish here. And then this will zip our project and upload it to Azure, where it will be unzipped to our project. Now, while this is happening, for B1, this might take a bit longer to start up. Even once it's uploaded, it has to boot up, and that can take some time. I think Premium, that will go very quick. But in the meantime, we can cover environment variables. So this section here to the left, environment variables, we have two sections. We have app settings and connection strings. Now, for connection strings, let's start with that. We'll add, this will look in the environment variables, similar to here in app settings, when we use that in program.cs, we use the get connection string. But we could also have accessed this here, a variable like this, something. And if we look here at app settings, those kind of variables belongs to that section called app settings, where we have, for example, something here, maybe a front-end URL that we would add to course. But for connection strings, it looks inside this predefined one. And here we will use default connection. I will give it the name default connection. I will take this entire connection string. This is the one that we use for SQL Server. So we can just copy that. I'll put it in here in value. And for type, we'll select SQL Server. And then I will apply and apply. This would have restarted our app. And I think we already uploaded it, right? Well, if we look at publish, yes, succeeded. Now, in app settings, as I mentioned, front-end URL, if you go here, we could have added the front-end URL here. And we would have had a value here. And could have used that to allow that origin for course and that. But you could also create a block similar to connection strings. And then you might, instead of front end, we might call it URL because we might have different keys. One will be URL and then we might have something else. So how do we access URL in this case? Then you would type 2 underscores, just so you are aware. If you ever come across, which might happen when you need to do this. So let's leave that. Let's go to overview. Let's go to our URL, and we can see there's our API, the index that we served. Remember to go to programs.cs. Just let me remove this. There, save and let's close it. Here, so our endpoint for the index, for the base route, we redirect to index HTML. Now let's just see if we can access our API. So it was in API excuses, right? And we see this does not work. Now if we read the error message, an error occurred while retrieving excuses. Cannot open server excuses. SQL Server requested a login. Client with IP address is not allowed to access the server. Now, when we did SQL Server locally, we added our client, our local host, our computer's IP address, but this app service has its own IP address. Now, there are different ways of adding it depending on your needs. The most simple way, if I go to resource groups in here, and we have our SQL Server here. Remember here to the left, the networking section. The easiest way is to toggle this, allow Azure services and resources to access this server. But we see here, this option configures the firewall to allow connections from IP addresses allocated to any Azure service or asset, including connections from the subscriptions of other customers. So this isn't the most secure way, but for simplicity's sake, I will enable that just so we can see that everything works. Now, depending on your business need, there are different ways of doing this. You can get all the outbound IP addresses from the app service and add them here, similar to the client IP address, but that's a lot of IPs, so you would probably want to use a script that uses the Azure command line interface to do that. And another approach would be perhaps to add a private input in this private access section. For example, if you have a client web app and it is the only one who should be accessing the API. But if the API is supposed to be publicly accessible, then you need to add all the output IP addresses here, or take the easy way out like I did here. So let's go back here and refresh. And there we see I have all my information. And if we go locally, this isn't necessary exactly, but just to see that if I come back here to let's just get the whole address. We can update our, we can comment that out, and then we can add our API URL address here, remove this, execute this part, and save. And let's verify that it works. Send requests. Now what? Let's click again, and there we see 200 OK. And we have 6 here, and then we can send request, 2 created. We can also get by ID, we can update, and we can delete. Great. And so now our web API is deployed on Azure, accessible to anyone. Until next time.